In this video, I'll talk about the actual technique of the planche and why it is so important. The title isn't clickbait. If you don't know about the things I'll mention here, chances are you're going to significantly improve your progress once you apply them. I'm not talking about strength training, only about the technical parts and things that can be applied instantly, although some aspects may require time to master. You may already know about protraction of your shoulder blades, but there's a lot more to planche than that. You can also activate core, lats, traps, biceps, forearms, and wrists. I will also cover exercises that will help you understand the technique as well as practice the right way. Before we even talk about muscle activation, the first hack is to get yourself parallettes like these. It will be easier to understand muscle activation and learn the planche. First, your grip strength will help you, and second, you are less likely to suffer from wrist injuries, unlike on the floor. Still, a good warm-up is mandatory before every planche training. If you don't have access to the parallettes, you can improvise or make them yourself. It's really not that expensive. And if you really prefer doing planche on the floor, this video will still apply to you. Let's start from the bottom. The first muscle groups we need to activate properly are forearm and wrist muscles. The right way to do that is to place your wrists like this. You may have been used to this technique, but it actually puts more strain on your arms. If you do it this way, however, your forearms will activate and will work better. It may be uncomfortable, but at the start you can try slowly adjusting your position and improve it over time. This grip is also fine, just make sure you don't have too much internal rotation. If you're doing planche on the floor, then just rotate your wrists more or less to the opposite directions. How convenient it is for you also plays a big role. Next is the biceps. The most optimal position is to rotate them forward 45 degrees. This may require some mobility but should be doable. Don't rotate too much unless you're doing a supinated planche. Now the shoulders and the upper back. The idea is to use protraction and keep it throughout the whole time. Protraction is achieved by pushing your body away from the floor like this. However, a lot of people struggle with keeping their upper back engaged, and as soon as they enter the planche, their back falls and their shoulders take the most weight. It's true that your shoulders are the main muscles for the skill, but if you manage to help them carry the weight, the planche will be much easier. First, here's an exercise that will help you understand and improve scapular protraction. While keeping your arms straight, you're pushing up and going back down. If this is too easy, here are two more variations. The first is doing the same thing but going into a planche lean angle, and the second is just adding some weight. You can even combine the two, however, a more preferable version is this one where you're just leaning forward. It's hard to control your back in an actual planche, which is why you just have to get used to this angle. By doing this move, you will also activate your upper back and traps. Understanding how to activate those muscles will take some time. The tip I can give is just practice technique regularly and try to feel those muscles. Here's another exercise that will help you engage upper back. Dips with protraction. This will also prepare you for tuck planche push-ups and more difficult variations. The point is to slowly perform dips while keeping the protraction, especially at the top. Do it really slowly because if you lose control over your scapula, there's no point in doing it. Another important note is to always record yourself. Any person who is serious about planche has to record their attempts, analyze them, and then correct the mistakes. One such mistake is an exaggerated hump on your back. After all, a planche is a straight line. Yes, you're using protraction, which is responsible for a small hump, but you shouldn't be looking like some ancient human. Finally, the abs. This is simple but quite hard to control. Some people, including me, make the mistake of compensating with lower back, creating this overextension. This happens because A. Either your abs are no longer activated or weren't activated from the start, or B. Your upper back isn't properly engaged. Your abs are activated by lowering your hips and pulling them to the chest, and that's all. Remember that you get better at using your muscles and building mind-muscle connection by constantly practicing technique. It can be done at the beginning of the workout or even in the middle of your main workouts. You shouldn't feel too much tension. Practice is actually supposed to be easier compared to the other workouts. Just focus on the things I've covered: wrists, biceps, protraction while pushing away, and abs. That will be all. If you want to see more, check out my other videos. I also offer a front lever course if you're interested. DM me on Instagram for more details. The link is below.